mistakes. Hey Jim from South Africa, my bro. Yeah. Is this the Astro right now? And this is all Axe effects at the moment, so that's just my streaming and recording setup. The Astro's there with a little synergy, so. Can you play George Michael's? Like something like that line? Yeah, all right. This is how I warm up. What else is on this playlist? If anyone's got any questions as well, just fire away. I will just talk over the track. Fake whammy bar dip thing. fingers are maybe moving properly. So somebody in here, we met at Rottnest Island. Hey man, we're back this coming Saturday actually for the, I think it's the Channel Swim this weekend. So yeah, Saturday night we're doing a couple of hours of rock music, which reminds me we'll probably play that. Oh, Brad, you get it exactly. This this is yeah, often how we introduce that song when we play it live and cover it. So I mean, that sentence might be totally incomprehensible to anyone who is not Australian, but yeah, this is the best comment I've seen on a video all year. That's incredible. Since I want to play guitar again, I don't play since 2014. What can you recommend me? Well, there's always the first couple of questions. What do you like and what's your budget? So let's find Matthias a guitar, and then he's going to start playing, and at this point in 1 year he's going to come back on the live chat and be like, man, I've just been having the best year of my life because now I play guitar. So yeah, I mean, the most important thing is probably to own a guitar or have access to a guitar, because that's somewhat necessary. So with that, I mean, there's so many great options at the moment, mate. It's kind of hard to go wrong. So I'm sure if you read through the comments, people will throw a bunch of cool things out. I recognize those fake whammy maneuvers. Sykes on a Les Paul. You do. Exactly. The pre-bend with some delay, right? And the neck on this thing is such a chunk. It's just very hard to communicate these things over the medium of moving pictures, right? But yeah, this is sort of, I guess, probably like a 58. It's basically a 58 spec, right? It's a giant chungus of a body. I really like the figure in the carina, like on the side. Well, limber, I guess. Carina is the finish. You kind of see a bit of it. Great guitar. And when I bought this when I was like 21, I did the right thing. Didn't play it for many years, though, because I thought I didn't like it. And, well, I'm just an idiot, aren't I? The Quackers, yeah. Mate, Quackers, drop bears, blokes who like Explorers, they're all coming for you. My first guitar was a blue metallic Explorer. I still have the body, and I got the headstock signed by Adrian Ballou. That's sick. Very, very cool. I imagine Adrian would have appreciated that. Why do you always sound so Whitesnake? It's not a critic. Well, that's the nicest thing anyone has ever said about me. So, what is going on with my hair as well? Yeah, that's. I look like a bantam chicken or something like that. Why? Because I mean, I really like Whitesnake, and I've spent a lot of time learning it. And I played in a Whitesnake tribute band, yeah, I mean, the Whitesnake stuff with John Sykes is like pretty foundational for me. So I love his playing, all the Blue Murder stuff as well. And this guitar's pretty snappy. Sykes, Aldrich, Red Beach, yeah, they're my dudes. So it just leaks out of the pores. Here's a good question. Matching solid state power amp, wattage to cab mono, 400 watt Carvin 4x12, 8 ohms. Carvin says they're LT2000 Wattage greater than cab for headroom. Yeah, the solid state stuff. I'm sure if Brad is still here, Brad can provide a succinct summation of solid state watts versus tube watts, right? The power you're going to get out of a solid state power amp is going to be dependent on the impedance of the cab. Steve Fryette did like a 40-minute video on reactive loads and stuff like that a couple of weeks ago, which is really, really great, and he kind of explains power handling very, very well. In short, there's sort of no meaningful shorthand to be like, well, 30-watt tube amp is X number of solid state watts. So, 340 watts. Look, if the handling power of the cab is more than the power amp, you're definitely going to be fine. With a solid state power amp, though, that's going to be a different equation on there. So, a bit too inebriated at my schoolies week to do the same. Mate, I didn't even go on schoolies week, so you got one over me there. Lucas, how do you balance your live tone between your stage amp and the front of house mix when going direct? I haven't used a stage amp for a long time. I've either been on in-ears or in-house monitors. So, I just came off, we did, basically the last year I've been doing this touring cabaret. So I worked out that I've done 120 shows with them in the last year. So monitors pretty much for all of them. And that show's nice because, you're doing 40, 50 shows on one run in the same venue. So with that, you have a sound check every single day. So getting the monitors dialed in normally, after about the first week of shows, it's pretty there. If you are using a 4x12, let's say you're using a powered monitor or you're using a power amp and a cab, something like a Fractal is going to give you independent control over, say, output 1 and output 2. So you can just use the output 2 to your on-stage cab, blend as much of that in as you like, independent of what's happening up front of house. So, but hey, I've put post headstock for the right strings. Interesting. I got Lucas's thing there. Blue Murder, the song, yeah, so good. I'm sure that's not how you actually play it. I think that's like a double drop D song or something like that, or open D. Do they do the Still of the Night riff? Which one, right? There's that. There's the Here we go. Of course, Brad is going to clarify this. Power is power, watt for watt, but valve overdrive can be pleasant, and solid state, not so much. Yeah, I guess it depends on, like so many things, it's not that the components are magic, it's the design and the engineering that goes into it that can make the magic, right? And even then you can have stuff that can sound really good, and I've watched plenty of Brad's videos where, like, yeah, stuff might sound okay, and then you open it up and you look at it and you're like, bro, why did you choose to, coat everything in a layer of Vegemite just to get the sound? What do you think of the Marshall SV20 and a Fryette power station for a main rig? I reckon that'd be pretty sick, dude. When was this? The end of last year? Ian Moss with Cold Chisel, his rig he's using I think it's like a reissue AC15, maybe? I think like the Custom Classic or something, don't quote me on it. He was telling me about his rig when I went and saw them, and we got to hang out, and that was like pretty rad because Mossy's the sickest. But he's using a Fryette power station to make those louder. So I think that's probably like a 15 watt. Well, if it's an AC15, it's probably 15 watts, Leon, you big idiot. He's doing that, and he's driving cabinets that have, I think, some 70 watts Fane speakers in them. Sounded unbelievable. So yeah, he's using the power station to like add watts to his small amp rather than taking like a 100-watt Marshall like this thing and then taming it, which I think is pretty cool. So yeah, I think that would be awesome. The SV20 I really like the sound of. On paper, I kind of looked at it and was like, a 100-watt super lead is a 100-watt super lead, and you're not going to get that with 20 watts, but I thought it was pretty sick. Adrian is great. Met him the first time in 92. Hung out with Ricky Medlock one day. He was playing a Korean Explorer. Man, Ricky Medlock, and when I shave my beard, everyone says I look like him. Alan Collins, the tall guy in Skinner, right? rocking one of these. Yeah, there's some photos of me when I'm like 20, 21. Oh, when did I get this guitar? 2008? Yeah, so when I was 20. And yeah, before I had all this fuzz on my face, before I went through puberty. Got a Strat 2011 used. Previous owner. Added lay sensors. It sounds great. Pierce the Whitesnake lineup preceding Sykes was amazing. Check out Live in the Heart of the City. Yes, 100%. Mel Galley, super underrated. Like, I remember reading, like, what happened? He had some issues with, like, the nerves in his arms or something like that, and then couldn't play, and that's kind of eventually, you know, some stuff where he couldn't play, and they eventually got Sykes, and yeah, the rest is history. Ask for some Mossy lead work. Yeah, let's get the Strat. Let's get the Strat, you know. We're all adults here. We can all handle a Strat, right? And I'll just hopefully put that in a non-precarious position. One downside of an Explorer is, you know, trying to find a stand that will hold it. Let's see. Man, I'm actually so impressed with this. Actually using the trem on this guitar. Where's my AC30 preset on here? Doing the thing. Hey, yeah. So like that's just one of my favorite parts. That's just like pure R&B chops, right? Let's see, where was I in the chat? Nick, 2 in a row, mate. What are the odds? What are the odds? Did you guys cop any of the residual effects of that cyclone that's happening up in the... I guess it's at slightly above the Tasman Sea, right? In Brizzy. It's probably blowing the wrong way to get to New Zealand, so... yeah, what you working on, bro? Where is the tuning? I've got my rack sideways in here at the moment, so if you see me doing this, trying to tune my guitar, it's just, I'm just adjusting. There we go. The immediate lesson, the sassing of chords with the shake of the strings. Yeah, dude, it's so good. You know, so many people from that era are playing cool stuff, but I feel like it's just that extra bit of intent and spice and, you know, I don't know, it's that kind of like, they say, you know, play for the song. I think it's a really good example of Sykes always played for the song and made the song better, but also the guitar's so up in your face, right? Associate Alan with the Firebird. Oh yeah, actually. I was looking at what was the thing? There's a company doing like licensed Gibson stuff, but they do like a V in the style of a Firebird, which I thought looked pretty sick. Here we go. Black Straight Blues. Sykes fell on Galley's arm during an unfortunate drinking accident. I didn't know that. Right. Man, so how much stuff from that era is just like, you know, yeah, we went out drinking one night and then someone got glassed, or we went out drinking one night and, you know, someone accidentally got stabbed, but then the person who stabbed him was his best mate and then they made up afterwards, but he still couldn't do the tour, you know. It's, or like, yeah, just Brian Robertson's entire career is like, yeah, I was at the peak of my powers and then I got into a bar fight and someone broke a chair over my face, and then had to miss a tour. But then they took me back. So yeah, the golden era, right? It's got to be a Strat, Brad. It has got to be a Strat. Is there a way to get just the effects portions of presets for the VP4? Essentially looking at the sequencer patches. I don't think you can just lift blocks over. I feel like at some stage there was, but you could probably use Fractal and read out all the components and then plug them back in. But there are a lot of, if you go through the factory presets, there's a bunch of stuff that, basically I like manually converted my blocks over to the VP4. So they're sort of in there, which is cool. And the unison riffing with the riff reminds me of Hendrix, totally. There's another, Frank Marino doing the Hendrix thing. He has a song called Well Maybe It's Time. Marino's a beast. Got heavy rain and strong wind, but nothing too much. So nothing out of the ordinary for where you are, hey Nick. Any legato exercises posted? Yes, I've been doing the 5-minute licks series again. So I did maybe like the 2nd or 3rd week of January. I think I did a little legato, getting this kind of that drill happening to improve your legato. No mistakes, only happy accidents. Yeah, but in my case, mistakes as well. I love your solos, Leon. I love to hear about your go-to moves you use for solos. We really all have favorites, but you have some really tasty phrases. Love to hear some and your thought process. Mate, here he is, the man, the myth, the legend. Tondi, am I guessing on another session again today? You can also ask Troy questions. Maybe we can drag him in if he's at the studio. What are we talking about? Tasty stuff. Some of my favorite things to do. Let me just pull up a different patch for you kids. Let's do this one. How's that? So a big thing that I think is cool, and listening to heaps of George Lynch, if you're playing a very generic rock progression like A, F, and D, treat A like it's A7, and then treat the other 2 chords like they're major chords. So you have a mixed modes thing. So over F and D or F and G, you play natural minor or minor pentatonic or blues, whatever. But over the one you go via the 4, you have to hit the 4. The major 3rd, so you've got like... So that's a really fun little thing if you want to add some spice to your playing. It's a pentatonic with a major 3rd, which you call a dominant pentatonic. And then from there, that gives you heaps of options for playing over stuff, because there's no 2 and there's no 6. So if you wanted to do a lick that goes like... You could turn that into a Phrygian dominant idea by... Or you turn it into a Mixolydian idea by going... You could turn it into a Mixolydian flat 6 lick. Very like Jeff Beck blow by blow era. idea, you have to change the fork. Alex Skolnick, right? So yeah, to answer your question, I think like 50% of everything I do is based around if you take this. That like symmetric pentatonic thing, you know, you can get all your Bonamassa and Eric Johnson ideas from that. And then the other stuff's like Lynch, Sykes. And then obviously all the 3-note per string crap is Paul Gilbert and Vinnie Moore and Malmsteen, right? What's the other? What am I doing? So yeah, a bunch of that stuff. I feel like the rapid fire box pentatonic thing, I rely on a lot, and obviously like the Michael Schenker, John Sykes, you know. Is pretty rad. Nick, wondering how you set dual D tune. Finding tones, the Paul Jackson Jr. thing, I want to dance with somebody for a gig, went -10 and +10. Yeah, a cool thing, I mean, look, let's get something slightly less insanely gainy. Let's get something, go back to that AC30 thing. So, I mean, like the Eventide, the H3000 thing, right, is often, a lot of those presets are +9, -9, so. What I find helps a lot is having a really short delay on some of the D tunes. So let me just add this guy. What do we got? Cool. So yeah, you can see, actually let's do this. Let's go full 80s and I'll bring up my like Rockman. So if you have the latest Axe firmware, there's this Rockman compressor. So what I find really helps get that sound with a stereo chorus. So that just gives you a little bit of like, you know, the thing, but then you lay a D tune on it. So that's, yeah, you can see that like the Eddie thing is 9, -9, no delay on one, about 20, 30 milliseconds on the other. The other thing, which is cool as well, I mean, you can go out like 11 either side is cool, or having, that's pretty lush, hey, so it goes from, I'm just going to mute my mic so you can just hear the D tune and chorus. Oh, it's so ridiculous. I love it so much. So yeah, the Rockman Echo thing is like a 200-ish millisecond thing. Just to give you that. What would the Chili Peppers sound like if they came out with Michael Thompson on guitar? Forbidden riffs. Forbidden riffs. So yeah, that's anyway, long story short. I'll stop sharing my screen there. So that's what I do. That is what I do. Vivian did the Sykes riff justice on the 87 tour. Viv's rendition of This Is Love, so it shows they shared Gary Moore influence. Hell yeah. I mean, it's like Gary Moore, Sykes, Viv, right? They're so... I feel like Viv... I mean, I love his playing, but in particular, the first two Dio albums, he was just this like raw, savage beast. And then like Viv on a Les Paul. Viv on a Kramer, not as into. Viv on a Les Paul though is like totally a vibe. People don't even know who Mahogany Rush are anymore. Yeah. Hey man, they need to get down with some Frank Marino, right? Yeah, well, here we go. Here we go. We're gonna pull Troy in a second. I'm gonna send him an invite right now. Give me 1 second, everybody. We'll get the T-Man in. The T-Dog. The T-Nab. All right. Troy, I have just invited you to join me on StreamYard. Hopefully you will get the email in good time and can entertain the people. Let's see. Let's see. So, I'll show you this because I had a friend help me measure my SPX 90. We went like full into the depths of it. And I'll show you, Nick, if you want to get the Landau detune on the Axe or on the FM3. Let's share this again. How do I do that? Thanks, StreamYard. So one thing that we found is there's like heaps of latency in that unit. So these were with +9, -9. So yeah, like big, like you can see like 70 and 40-ish milliseconds of delay on the voices. And it's also not super stereo, which was interesting. It's only like about, 20-30% mixed out. So yeah, if you were going for like the 13 or the, do I have them in here? I do. Yeah, these were the Landau settings. Oh no, there you go. So it's kind of giving you a slapback delay and the detune at the same time. You could push these out to like, 13 if you want. So just keep in mind that like the settings on these are the settings on the SPX 90 that Warren's telling us about here. But having measured the SPX 90, like a 20 millisecond delay on the SPX 90 is more like a 40 odd millisecond delay on the Axe, taking into account the processor latency. And then, well, the one that I have, the left and right sides don't have the same amount of latency anyway. So, yeah, yeah, there's that. Getting an in-the-room sound with the Axe effects. I did a video recently going through the room parameters in the cab block. But I mean, the easiest way to get a in-the-room sound is just plug it into a cab. And I know that's a cop-out, but it's also the truth. Hopefully we'll have Troy in here soon. What do you think of Rory Gallagher? Mate, one of the best. One of my favorites. I've got to go back to that. This like AC30 sound that I was playing before, like specifically dialed in to try to get to sound like it. I'm going to put a treble booster pedal model in front of that. Just so we get a bit of push. Where are we? Treble boost. Yeah. He's another, I mean, what is it about these Irish guitar players, right? Probably being in an environment where you're constantly surrounded by music, and all those very, very cool. Yeah, there's that live at, I think it's Montreux, I think, or maybe it's a Rock Palast thing where he does this like 10-minute version of Shadow Play. It's one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. Like, the band is just, they are just smashing that gig. It's so good. It's so good, you know, for like a 3-chord jam, and he's doing all the Chuck Berry moves down the stage. The audience is so into it. It's like, yeah, they sort of captured lightning in a bottle with that. So, hey, Trent, I've got all the monsters in here. What are you up to today, bro? I feel like Liam will get along very well with Richie Faulkner. I saw Richie. So who went and saw Iron Maiden in like 2006 or 2007, whenever they did that Somewhere in Time tour? Maybe it was 2008. And Richie was playing with Lauren Harris, so Steve's daughter's band. And I wasn't super into the band, but I was like, man, this guitar player is unbelievable. Like, he's carrying the whole band. And, you know, it was just Zach Schenker, basically. He was doing the things. So, yeah, I'd love to be able to play about 10% as good as what Richie does. He's a monster. Jesus, just all right. Yeah, man, exactly. That Rockman thing is like, I'm glad that it's back. I'm glad that people appreciate that's such an important sound. Just tuning in now from Los Angeles. I wanted to find out the specs of the new Brett Garza guitar, but I don't think he got them on your interview with him. So don't quote me on this, but it's definitely a maple top, maple neck. I held the guitar for like 0.3 seconds when I was chatting to Brett. Rosewood. So I will, just because you've asked. Pronouncing K is not one of our specialties down here in this country, is it? So Charles Chillier, who built Brett's guitar, built some amazing stuff. He built this, which is like the greatest maple top I've ever seen. Something like that. Where are my drop C? Excellent. So this, Charles has got a bunch of like really, really lovely ethically sourced rosewood. Like the inlays on this thing are so tight, but I love the chocolatiness of this fretboard. So I'd say it's probably from a similar batch. I'm not sure if it's a mahogany body. That was sort of the thing that he left out, but my advice would be, actually, you know what? I'm going to message Charles now, and let's see if he gets back to me. And if he gets back to me within the next 20 minutes or something, we'll all know. Let's see. Where is his number? Here we go. I'm going to take a photo of the question. Here we go. All important. Let me just do this. And I will just fire this off, and maybe we'll get an answer in real time, thanks to the magic of the internet. Troy is going to get a coffee. What's the spec on Brett's guitar? The internet wants to know. All right, I'll fire that off. And hopefully we'll have an answer for you. Scott is here. What's up, bro? Yeah, man, I really should actually try have a schedule. Maybe I will. My life has been organized chaos over the last year, basically. So I think until August, I don't have any extreme touring coming up. So maybe we can just make this a regular slot. All right, let me tune this thing and make some noises with it while I take some more questions. Oh, dude. That does not sound very fun. Do you have power, or are you like tuning in from your phone or something, man? Are you able to heat up your party pies and your sausage rolls? Oh, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Added to the stage, the big kahuna.
That's Josh Tracy, mate.
Yeah, that's Josh Tracy. Josh Tracy's the big kahuna to the big kahuna. The T-Dog. Mate, you were saying you wanted to do a bit of a live thing the other day, so here we are.
Here we are. I've got a little latency on my microphone. What would that be?
What's that all about?
Oh, my.
It might just be the way I'm You might be getting yourself back. This might be a terrible setup for live streaming.
Oh well, should we do it 2 minutes and see if we need to bail?
I mean, it sounds great on my end. Hopefully, it sounds great for everybody else.
What's happening, everyone? What's happening, everyone? Torin. I'm like a little head on the.
Well, I'm glad
Trent,
that this
how's
is
it going, mate?
to scale. Yeah, hey, do you remember, Troy, hanging out with our mate Trent, who's in here? My place has been unscathed. That's good, man. There's a lot of echo.
Hey, they could work, man. We'll do another time.
One sec. Let's see if this fixes it.
Yeah.
Okay, can people still hear me?
I can hear you.
Great. Let's see. Hopefully that's going to kill the echo.
Can you hear me, mate?
I can certainly hear you, Troy. You sound bloody lovely. Do you still have issues on your end?
I can't hear myself, but there's a little bit of a delay very quietly. But
yeah, that seems to fix it. I think because, I'm using the magic that is universal audio for my interface, it only spits out the first two channels to StreamYard. So I have to set channel 1 and channel 2 to be the monitor output. So it's catching your audio and then, yeah, there we go.
Oh, that's all good, mate. Hey, what's
all good on both sides.
How are you, buddy? You feeling pretty good? The Gear Podcast little logo's in the top corner, so I feel at home. Right above my head.
Exactly. Feeling pretty good. What's
good,
been... that's a perfect 400 millisecond delay. Great. So it's all gone. Excellent. Fire away with some questions, folks. While we got...
Leon, question 1.
Yes.
Do you lick a dick a day?
Often.
Yeah.
Not always, but often. Is mine absolutely potato quality.
Your video's not looking great on my end, but...
It looks so good on my end.
Yeah. Mate, you need to move to an area with better NBN. That's your problem.
Yeah. Imagine that. Let's...
Well, I've lost you, mate, so I don't know if I'm still here, but look at Troy just coming in, ruining everybody's day. I'm looking at the YouTube feed at the moment.
All right, I'm back.
Leon's back, everybody.
As long as Troy looks great, that's all that matters.
As long as Leon looks great, that's all that matters, mate. No, I just had a session, mate, so that's what I'm doing here on a Sunday. My car is currently still in the shop, as they say. I had no oil in my engine the other day. Was I telling you about that? That was pretty cool. Driving home and seeing the light come on to say no oil pressure, and then checking the stick and there being not a tiny little drop of oil in the car. So that was kind of not great.
Not even a little. Liam looks like a Bigfoot sighting. I need to see this on my end. This is hilarious. I don't know why. Maybe the internet's just struggling with too much charisma from Troy.
Too much rock.
Oh yeah, I do look like a Bigfoot sighting. That's terrible.
That doesn't look
terrible.
Too bad,
okay, maybe we're getting back.
Yeah, we're getting there. Hey, if Brad's Guitar Garage is still around, just a shout out to you for being the That's What I Reckon of Australian guitar content. Really appreciate that.
That's so great.
Maybe
Did you see what he wrote when I was playing Come Said the Boy?
No, I missed that.
A song about getting a root at Surfers Paradise.
I love it.
Perfect.
But no, I just wrapped up my session, so I don't have a car to get home, basically, so I've got to get picked up kind of soon. So it's nice. It's the timing is lovely, you know.
Scott's on it. Brad rules. Totally agree.
does.
Have you, Troy, played many Ernie Ball Music Man guitars? I know Scott has all of them. What's your one?
He had all of them. My preferred one. He has an Axis that's so good. Man, it's like, it's a guitar that just literally plays itself. I've never played a guitar that has felt that easy to just play fast and stuff on. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, I've played quite a few of his. The Sabre I haven't really played before. That's is that the one that Fluff has?
I want to say yes.
It's like
I feel like
Stratty
it's
looking
also,
thing?
yeah, I feel like a couple of Sig models are sort of based on like the Jason Richardson and a few other ones. I've not played one. Uh, yeah, here we go. Yes, it's probably the most Strat looking one. Like often
Right.
two humbuckers. Man, like I think the Rabea signature model's a Saber as well. Yeah, it seems to be
Oh,
the
okay.
that's what a lot of people go for with the Sig model. The Saber collection. I'm just having a look now.
Does anyone stock Music Man here in Perth? I don't know if I've seen
Man,
any.
they weren't at the guitar show, which I thought was interesting. I wonder who's distributing them here, or if they uh, do a direct. I
What
doubt they do a
Charbels did
direct
they
thing.
have available at the guitar show? They have some
They
Charbels and
had
Jacksons that you can go
they
play?
had none. Disappointingly, they had some. I saw a few people with Jackson T-shirts, which made me happy. But yeah, it was like Fender branded Fender only, no extra stuff.
They might have been Eddie Jackson t-shirts from the band Queensryche.
Yes, I'd definitely get one of those. Here you go. Do you feel that coil taps are good enough that HSH guitars are not really needed if you were going for versatility? How do you feel about the HSH, Troy?
I like that setup. I've been more of an SSH type of a cat for the last little while. I kind of
Yeah.
don't love the sound of a neck humbucker. It's always felt a little too covered and warm to me. And I know that's
Right.
sort of sacrilege because Les Pauls and whatnot, but even still, like, I just feel like it's such a smooth tone that I don't find it very comfortable to play. So, in terms of like if that like splitting that coil will do the business, I don't know, man. I think it probably depends on the pickup that's in the guitar, right? Like if it's a really hot sort of humbuckery do, then maybe it's a.
Yeah.
I haven't really done enough experimenting with that to have a firm idea. What are your opinions, mate?
Yeah,
You
I
don't have any
think
guitars like that, do you?
in a Strat, I just like a Strat neck pickup.
Yeah, that's my like position. Okay, here's a question for you, and maybe everybody else listening. But the neck position in a Strat, is that position 1 or position 5? I assume position 1. That's how I've always assumed it. Is that correct?
Yes, I would say
Yeah,
position
right.
1.
This is like
Yeah.
the when you talk about stage left and stage right. You know.
Yeah,
I still,
yeah,
I don't,
yeah.
If I'm driving, I'll do this probably with you, but I have to do this or that because I can't say left or right and have it mean anything. So.
Yep.
Anyway.
Well, Trent is on the money. CMC do distribute Music Man in here, and you can get them at Cosmic Sound, Mega Music, Music Park, Sound Center, and Zenith. You'll love a bit of Zenith, don't you,
Zenith?
Troy?
Jeez, I
Like,
haven't been
is
to
that
Zenith
still? Does that still exist?
I don't really go to Claremont enough to check it out.
Yep.
But that's
I
Claremont,
mean,
isn't it?
yeah, that's in the genre of like you're not allowed to breathe near the guitars kind of vibe.
I remember
Zenith Music.
I went there when I first
Yeah,
got my
it's still
driver's
open.
license.
Right on.
Well, there you go. No, when I
Yeah,
first got my
bit of a
driver's license,
pilgrimage.
man, yeah, I checked it out, drove out there, and the only guitar in the shop that I was interested in was a Korean Ibanez Destroyer that was red.
Right.
It's the only guitar I played, and it was cheap enough where they would let me do it without, as you say, kind of having a go at you.
Yeah, yeah.
But I didn't know as much about guitar. I mean, I was pretty young, obviously, so I couldn't have told you what else they had there. But I remember a lot of acoustic guitars.
Yes. Yeah, and I feel like also, it's a place now in the days of the internet, back then like a music store would sell sheet music.
Yep.
That was a large part of what they did. Oh man, they have a Hamer USA Studio mahogany electric guitar. There
Oh, yeah,
you go.
How many figures?
Probably
5?
$6 million. It's pretty cool. It's like a cherry. So, Tondi, burning question. Did you see that Brent Hines left Mastodon?
Yeah, man. Not. I don't know. I don't know what happened there. I
What?
follow him on Instagram, and he did put a post up like yesterday or today. That was just like someone holding a sign that said "No Brent Hines, no Mastodon." So I'm like, oh, maybe it wasn't as
really?
amicable of a split as reported. I tried to do some digging, but I didn't look that hard. Mastodon's
mean-
one of. It's basically Mastodon and Gojira are the only metal bands that I like. So like modern
Yeah.
metal bands. It's just that's my cup of tea. So yeah, it's pretty sad, man.
Yeah, man, that's kind of mental. Hines
But-
B. That's not him.
No, B Hines.
What's his Instagram?
B Hines, like letter B
Uh-huh.
Hines.
Yeah.
Like behinds, like
He
bums.
did the best ad for anything which was his signature orange app. Did you see the ad they did for that
That
when
was
it
a
came
couple of
out?
years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I'm sure I
just
saw
like
it.
him on a motorbike appearing from nowhere.
Yep.
Pretty great.
I think
Game
he's really
designer,
into
book lover.
country music and like I don't know, all that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's a great rockabilly player.
From the
Anyway,
no, like looking at his Instagram and some interviews and stuff that I've seen over the last probably 10 years, it felt like he wasn't as invested. I think I watched the documentary of when they made that Emperor of Sand album. I think that's what it was called.
yes.
And it just
Yeah,
sort
I'm
of
just looking at his story. No Brent, no Mastodon. Yep.
yeah, but it kind of
Right.
feels like he showed up and just did his parts and then bailed, and Bill Kelleher's just doing all the work. But I
Yeah.
don't know if that's true or not. But that's sad, man. But we saw Mastodon, didn't we? In 2014 at Soundwave?
Yeah, when Chaos did Soundwave and you were playing guitar, so
Yeah.
um,
You
yeah,
got a
man,
pic
that
with,
was pretty.
Oh, you got a prick with Brundella, didn't you?
Yeah, man, he was just like there. Like they did their set and sort of everyone. This is one of my favorite stories because I remember being side stage and watching them, and there's this guy behind the drum kit sitting on a chair, just like shadow boxing and like
Air drumming
loving
as well.
everything, air drumming.
Loving.
Yeah, just an individual named Philip Anselmo. And it was kind of like, man, that's Phil Anselmo just hanging out, loving watching Mastodon. And they were great. Yep. And then they kind of finished and like Bram was just like hanging out. And I was like, oh, hey, you're that drummer that's really, really great. And I love your band. And he was like, oh, thanks. And I was like, so what have you been doing in Joondalup? He's like, yeah, it's really nice. Like he was the most just normal dude. You know what I mean? Like just chilling. Love that he'd done his set. He was looking forward to like maybe a cold beverage. And then like Phil was also there and I met Phil and he gave me like the biggest bear hug I've ever had in my life outside of a footy field. And Phil was pretty cool. But then like Brand followed me on Twitter for a while. And I feel like that was like 2014-ish. And that's around the time we put out the Break You music video. He was like, is this your band? This is really cool.
That's cool.
And so, yeah, I like Brand Ayler. Great dude. Loves a
I
bit of
remember-
like,
There you go. Sorry.
I was going to say loves a bit of Winger ripoff.
Yeah. No, because I remember from that experience, two things, like on the stage just then, after they played, we got a photo. It was like you and me and the other Chaos Divine guys, and then I'm pretty sure it was Phil, Brun,
And
the
that dude
guy
from Satyricon?
Yeah, the dude from Satyricon. I don't know where that picture is, but we kind of all got a group picture, and then it was time to leave. And we all walked out, and I said to I can't remember who I was with from Chaos, but I was like, where the fuck is Leon? And then you just like kind of came storming out like you do. And yeah, you're like, oh, check this out. So, okay, here's another quick story about Leon getting a photo. Because I've told this story to a few people. I think it's really funny.
Oh, God.
2012, the first time Ragdoll goes to Rocklahoma, and I'm there tagging along. And we managed to like get backstage, or into the catering area a couple of times. I don't think we were supposed to be there, but we managed to get back.
Yeah, absolutely not.
And you remember this. So walking along, and it's like, oh, there's Rob Zombie. Oh, hey, Rob Zombie. He's like, quick little wave, walks off. Then there's John 5 standing by a truck, and he's talking to like two girls who are like the Miss Rocklahomas. They had the T-shirts on and stuff.
Yeah.
And anyway, so we walked past, and we're like, oh, hey, it's John 5. And it was like, hey, John, how you going? He's like, oh, hey, guys. He had a chat to us. Remember, he like pushed these two girls away and then had a chat to us for like a couple of minutes.
Just wanted to be a guitar nerd.
Yeah, and then I'm pretty sure I didn't get a picture with him, but I was like, oh, I'll get a picture of you and Leon. So I just remember like the two of you standing next to each other and him like getting up on his tippy toes, like not wanting to be, because you're like, Leon's like 6'1". So I just remember like this moment of like watching John 5 just get up on his tippy toes just to get a little bit extra height, so he doesn't get towered over by Uncle Leon over there. He's not a short guy,
Here we go. This is the photo where it's like the most
yeah.
Phil face ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
love
That
that,
happened. Phil was pretty drunk, which isn't a surprise, but Mastodon was so good.
That's such a good
I just
band,
remember
man.
it was like they'd just done, it must have been, that was 2014, so it was like they played heaps of Crack the Sky and heaps of stuff off The Hunter.
Yeah.
Like Curl of the Burl, what are they in like?
Oh,
It's one of those like dumb. You tune down to like A or something on the low string, like
Just since
something like that.
sorry, yeah, I was just checking the comments, and Brad's Guitar Garage, open invitation to come on the Gear podcast whenever you're in the mood, mate.
Hell yeah, bro! And well done on, as Scott said, 10K. May there be many zeros after that.
Yep.
I just feel like
You got at least two zeros watching your channel occasionally, so yeah.
it was interesting being at the guitar show. There were quite a few people where I was like, oh, hey, I know you from the internet, and you're Australian, and it's cool that there's like a critical mass of Australian YouTubers, right, doing cool stuff, which I would count Brad. Like Brad and Lamb Chopper, to me, that's what it's like when you hang out with your mates and you play guitar. That's the actual, like what I do on my channel. It's not how I talk when me and Troy just like hang out and do dumb shit. I'm like,
Right.
I'm presenting, I'm doing things.
Yeah.
But yeah, Brad, like just talking through an amp, it's like, yeah, that's when you go see your tech. That's exactly the fucking experience you get. It's so good.
Man, when we do podcasts sometimes, it's funny because we jump on like exactly this situation. And it's like the first 10 minutes is Leon on his best behavior in like YouTube mode. And then we kind of break him down a little bit and we get back to normal. But yeah, it takes a second. That's fair enough.
I saw this photo of Brent Hines playing it was a carved top SG with a Flying V headstock. And I think it actually looked very cool. And I was trying to find the company.
Okay.
I'll find it because it's all these like parallel universe Gibson designs that I thought looked really cool.
Was that from like 10 years ago? You had a custom guitar made.
Yeah, and I mean, I looked up the company that does them, and they do like licensed Gibson stuff for a bunch of people. But they also do. I'm just going to find it, and we'll take some more questions while we're here. Let me see. I'm gonna have to go to Facebook and see the Mastodon page. But yeah, I mean, he's like Crack the Sky is the reason I got back into heavy metal. When that came out, I remember hearing Oblivion and being like, oh my God, this is great. And like the singer kind of sounds like Ozzy a little bit. And I think I really like heavy metal, which is just funny because all those interviews with Brett being like, I don't like heavy metal.
Yeah. I think for me, with them, the first two albums I wasn't hell into at the time. I was probably still in my, Dokken Racer X phase. And
yes.
They have their sound is like kind of, it's yuck. There's like a layer of filth on it. But
Yeah.
it's a different sort of filth to like an 80s. It's just, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's a bit like spooky. It's a bit, it's perfectly encapsulated by their album covers, I think. But
Yes.
what really turned me is when they played Letterman in like 2009 and they played Oblivion. And I was like, man, there's like 3 singers in this band. That's pretty cool. And that album's produced by Brendan O'Brien, who's like my hero.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I got super into it, man. That's such a good album.
All the
though
double
it's got-
picking in there, they're like,
Yeah.
yeah, just like chords like that, all that kind of stuff where it's like, yeah, they're not just doing the stock metal, like, I think when they came out as well, where it's like metalcore was still, a thing where it's like, yeah, think of like Killswitch Engage, like great band, but the guitar sounds are like, they're single notes, very tight, very controlled at all times. It's all like synced up. It's stuff you could probably get close to now with it just using plugins and virtual instruments, but like
Yep.
you can't get the Brent Hines thing. It's like there's a looseness and there's all the open strings and there's a kind of like rockabilly stuff. It's just, it sounds, I hate the word organic, but there was something organic about the way they play.
Yes, agreed.
The
Big
company's
fan,
called
huge.
Banker Guitars as well. So, I mean, they're like
Guitars.
10 grand like US. But look, sometimes you just see like a Gibson style guitar and because it's not an actual Les Paul, there's just something off about it.
Yep.
So I'm fairly certain they've got the like licensed. I'm going to drag this into the chat and we'll take some more. Brad, I have no idea how to say this band's name, but like rock tones, but playing metal essentially. That's exactly it. Attack. Yes. Got into Mastodon at Leviathan. I still call it their Master of Puppets, yeah. I still remember hearing... and that like Troy Sanders is another great Troy of the world. Like he's like, I think that something is trying to kill me. His voice is just like, yeah, that's sick.
Sorry, mate. More importantly, Giants Collingwood is on right now, and I haven't checked the scores.
Ugh.
How are they going? Come on. Oh, it's 14-10 to Giants. So, yeah, come on, Giants. We're all haters of Collingwood over here, so...
The Hunter, yeah, man, that's got Blasteroid, Stargasm. They're all very good songs. The what's the song called? The Sparrow. That. It's like the most just, and I think that's one that like when like Brand started singing, that's when it got super cool.
Yep.
Super cool. Speaking of Aussie bands, you guys fans of Neo Blivascaris, Neo's guitar player I had met at the guitar show, which was cool. He was hanging out at the Fractal booth playing some stuff. Great player. It was like amazing hearing someone after like a day of people like showing up and trying to play their John Mayer licks, like hearing someone who can actually play like proper metal. It was like, dude, that's like incredible. Nice guy as well. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Want to hear some squealies. I don't think I can route my guitar. My big dumb interface won't let me do that. I'm going to drag these guitars in because I just thought they were cool. Banker. So it's like a carved top SG, but I think that's pretty cool. Like that's...
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool, right? Yeah, and like the one Brent's playing has a Flying V headstock. That's cool as well. The Junior, the standard SG. Yeah. Like, that's a very cool riff on... I think they've actually, like, you know... These are the licensed body shapes from Gibson, so they're not, you know... That's super sick as well.
That's an interesting take. So it's a little slimmer in the waist, more like a Les Paul.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and then it's kind of got the carve. That looks awesome. I really like that. But the other one that I thought was super cool was the V-Bird. So it's like, you know... Flying V, but made like a Firebird, neck through with the wings.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's cool.
That's sick. Yeah, I'm super into this aesthetic. Pretty cool. Hey, I think they make guitars for Clutch as well.
Oh, okay.
And is that Marcus King? Yep, Marcus King. There you go.
Clutch is a bit of a thing.
Did we see them at Rock one year?
Maybe. I feel like
I've definitely seen them. So yeah, anyway, I reckon these are pretty sick designs. Yeah, right. I've definitely seen them at Rock one year where it was like, and they were the band where it was like all the other bands were like, oh, we got to go and see Clutch. And you know what it was, Tondi? It was just ZZ Top.
Oh yeah.
I was watching and I was like, oh, you know, remember we watched POD and we were like, oh, we get it now? Like, I hadn't really listened to too much Clutch. Clutch was a big deal here in the US in the early mid-90s. Yeah, it's like, again, it's if Gorilla Attack are like rock tones playing metal, Clutch are like, I don't know, they're like dudes who grew up loving metal playing ZZ Top. Banker started on the My Les Paul forums, I think. Yeah, that's super cool. There you go. I'm super into it.
That's so fun.
Flying V plus P90s.
Reading Brad's comment about Alkaline Trio, you can put that up on the screen when you see it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, they just seem like one of those bands where it's you know, like, you know when you like watch an interview with like an old footy player and it's like I don't know, it'll be like someone talking about Rowan Jones. And everyone's like, Rowan Jones? And they're like, nah, man, ultimate club man. Like, everyone at the club loved him, you know? Clutch are like the ultimate, like, musos band where, like, people are just like, we just love Clutch. Our entire fan base, all they want to listen to is Clutch. And we will just, like, if Clutch are going to be playing, we're there to see Clutch. Kind of like Primus. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good comparison. Do you ever get into Primus, Tonti?
Not really. I don't know why. There's a similar... It's not the same really, but the aesthetic of their music reminds me of what Mastodon is as well. Like that, there's like, it's just got elbows in it.
Yeah.
And I think at the time when I should have been listening to that music, I was too into hair metal. So anyway, that's okay.
Yep.
Man,
Man, that's funny
I was
though.
talking to a client about a week ago. Sorry, this is not really related, but
Primus sucks.
because of the age that we are, like I was doing a track and I was listening to the thing. I'm like, man, I kind of think we need chorus on this sound. But I was also like, every time I go to use a chorus sound, I'm not certain if it's lame. I can't find the balance where I'm influenced by the wrong errors and if it's okay to do it or not. It's such a specific thing that I'm always scared of it. And I just blame growing up in the early 2000s for that.
Oh, here we go. This is kind of cool. Yeah, it's like we're not cool enough. Or like Primus was a band that your best friend's older brother listened to. And there was always like a funny smell coming out of his room. Luckstone. This is cool. Oh yeah, so that yeah.
Cool.
This is a vibe. The El Machete. Yeah, that's very cool.
There was a brand that's friend of the channel, Simon, friend of the podcast, Simon was telling me. Oh, Lucky Dog guitars. Do you know anything
Lucky
about
Dog guitars. Not tried them. I love that they have a model called the T-Rex. Why hasn't anyone done that before?
Yeah, that's my signature model, mate.
And also, like, oi, yeah, look at this thing here. How many dudes have you been like, oi, man, do you prefer like Seps with like Max Calavera in it? Get to the chopper. That's cool. This reminds me of, Charles has a guitar that he's made, I think called the Renegade, which hopefully is on his website. Yeah, here we go. This is some rad stuff. And it's got that like cool, it's almost like an acid wash denim. Maybe it's on his Facebook page.
Man, honestly, all this talk about Charles the last little bit, I feel like I need to hit him up and...
Tondi, he's the sickest mad dog. That guitar. That one
that's
with
cool.
the Floyd.
Oh, man, that's
so
reverse headstock, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the one that he sent to Garced, where Brett was like, "Oh, I almost got that body finish on there, right?" The black Strat, that's the Irwin Thomas Sig.
Is that your
the
guitar?
Bell Aurora that is this guitar because it's one of his display models. The Halo in the middle, like I really want to get a Halo, but get it just John Sykes spec. The sort of metal guitar there, the Thylacines, really cool. And then there's the Renegades on.
That's Tasmanian Tiger, right? That's the.
Yes, indeed. Yep.
Yeah, nice.
Great guitars. And these are like his kind of Sir style. I don't want to sign into Facebook. Go away.
Don't do that, mate.
Anyway.
Go away, Facebook. We don't like you.
You really should, Tondi. He's definitely one of us. How else can I put it?
Mate, I was
starting to understand Primus now. Yeah.
I was talking to Simon about it, and I was like, man, this guy, he likes John Sykes. And once you know people that like John Sykes, you're in the club, and
yep,
you know, man, how was cool. So that Garced interview, the fact that we just offhandedly talked about King's X, and he was with it. It's like, man, Brett, you're in the club too.
He was so
congratulations, you made it.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like, yeah, you love the King's X, you love the good stuff. All right, Brad, we'll chat, bro. Let's get you on the pod and have a jolly old little hoedown. A 335 with a Floyd.
26-11, by the way, mate. Giants bending him over.
Do you have an opinion on the Uli John Roth Sky guitars? 7 strings, 30 to 36 frets or something. Their design seems so much more ambitious than most guitars these days. 60k. I mean,
yeah. I've got an opinion on that. That's ridiculous. Just don't. Like, don't worry about it.
I mean,
what's the point? What are you going to use?
Is Uli going to come around and give you like an oil massage for a week as well while you learn some of his riffs?
I don't think I touched the 21st fret of my guitar. You know what I mean? So what do you want with fucking 36 of them?
Look, and the best Uli stuff is on a Strat.
Jesus Christ. Let me look this thing up. I don't know what it is. 60,000. Like, get the fuck out of here. Unless you want to come on the
I mean,
podcast, and I'll have a chat
I
to you.
do love. I think the jewels in them must be real at that price. Yeah, look, you know, that's definitely a guitar. Some friends of ours in Perth had like $1 million guitar strap made. Remember that, Tondi?
I do remember that, yeah.
Yeah,
Guitar strap company.
with
They make good guitar straps.
I love Uli's like his picking system where he does triplets by doing a downstroke, an upstroke, and sorry, downstroke, a hammer on, and then an upstroke. So you get this like you get this where the accents are from the picking. It kind of gives you this swing feel. You know,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, like Monster. I still think his best stuff's just on that old Strat when he was kind of blackmooring it. Thoughts on Fernandez guitars? Got other function for 250. Bro, that is a steal. I've played a couple of the functions. Our friend Tim Wombs Guitars had a couple of them, and they were awesome. Like, you know, just good super strats. Did you play one of them, Tondi?
I'm Tim's ones. I played Fernandez though. I had that telly for a little bit. Remember the like black one with the pointy headstock?
Yeah, yeah.
TEJ. I don't know what that was, but
All
yeah,
I
that was
remember
alright.
about Fernandez guitars was that Dave Kushner from Velvet Revolver had one.
Oh. Well, there was a lot of them in WA for a bit. We know why. And,
Yeah.
but they're cool. Like I mean, they're Japanese guitars, or Japanese made guitars, aren't they?
Yeah, the Japanese made ones are great.
Yeah. So they're just cool. I mean, it's one of those things, man. Like I don't want to say, oh, how hard can it be to fuck up a Strat or a Telly? I mean, you can obviously fuck it up, but they're like, if you just pay a little bit of attention, I don't think it's that hard. So they were all pretty cool guitars.
Yeah.
The function, I'm not.
A problem
as familiar
is
with
those 80s versions had kind of dodgy Floyd Carla hybrid bridges. Yeah. You kind of have to butcher it to get it fully functional. Same with the old
Yeah.
Destroyers. Yeah, those bridges are always a slight put off. Have you played Mark Devadamo's Destroyer?
No, I haven't. I've seen it a bunch, but yeah, that's cool.
It's
I reckon
pretty.
One of those
It's actually pretty cool.
Destroyers still looks so cool. I mean, we've spoken about this before, but the Icer guitar, like the Iceman Destroyer that the Racer X guys were playing, I think that's the
Yes.
coolest looking shape. The Destroyer,
I
like
think
having
so
that
too.
little shelf on the bottom, is so cool. There's that Schecter have like a sort of inspired by that guitar, like it's a purple one too. I've seen it. come
Oh,
up a few
really?
Times. Yeah, I don't know what it's called. It's like their Explorer looking thing that you'll see it. It's like a little thicker, where the little
The
horn things at the
E1
bottom.
standard.
Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Drag it into the thing, mate.
Oh man, it's just that's kind of it, right?
Yeah, but what do you think that costs?
Oh, it's either like $500 or $5,000. There's no in between with these things, right? This one?
Yeah, it's that sort of
mean-
thing. But there's a purple one, you know, and it's like it retails for like over $2 Australian, which is not going to happen, unfortunately for me.
Ugh.
The shape's cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
This
I mean,
one.
that's
Yeah,
perfect.
that's you. Yeah.
That's me in a guitar, but not for that much money. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Even
The
second hand,
Stainer
man.
school.
Yeah. I don't know about the headstock. It's a little too flat. Yeah, I do. Trent, I would like a. Yeah, that was why I would grab that guitar, the Purple Explorer, like whatever that Schecter thing is. I still like my white Gibson Explorer will make an appearance at the top of Optus again this year.
Oh, yeah.
Thankfully. But I do miss the Charvel. Like that's is it behind me there? Yeah, there it is. Right, that one. That's just my favorite guitar, and I hate to say that. It's kind of lame. Like it's not lame. But it's. I feel basic for that being my favorite guitar, but it really is. It's so easy to play.
Just appreciate that people are quoting the lyrics for Cold Sweat in here. So this is a good day. A good day. This is a good question. Have you seen the Dime Guitars Culprit? Yes. I also saw a bunch of Dean stuff at the Melbourne Guitar Show, and they had their like lawsuit guitars, kind of like stuck in a corner. They weren't really allowed to. It was like Gibson here and Dean here, which was, slightly awkward.
So I thought Dean was over. I thought everybody left them and they were just kind of fizzling out. Like, what happened?
Yeah, bro. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
That Dean V of yours, that's a cool guitar, man. I was really impressed with that.
Yeah, really, really nice. That was, I think, a select series.
Yeah, I did one Optus gig with that. That funny story about that is taking that V in a hard case on top of the roof. It was so windy that I almost dropped it, the whole case, in the stairs going down. It was actually quite scary.
So that's the culprit. So it's like an ML with a kind of looks like a shark fossil.
Oh yeah.
Man, I reckon it was only a few years ago that I realized that an ML is a V and an Explorer
I know,
in the same.
Yep.
Right? What a dumb. Yeah. Was that a Dean thing or was that like a Washburn era dime thing when he had that?
That was Washburn, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah. Hey, happy birthday to Johnny Death.
Hey, happy birthday.
47 years young, mate. Well done.
What, you do not look a year over 46, a day over 46 years old. So congratulations.
N. Dawson, here we go. The eternal question. As a child of the 70s, I grew up with a real Marshall. Can I make an Aspect sound and feel like an amp in the room? Yes, plug it into a really loud power amp and a 4x12 and it will sound great. Unpopular opinion, I kind of rate the ZVs. I don't think it's that unpopular. I reckon they're kind of rad. Dean has some wicked American-made vintage-looking Flying V's coming up. They're not dead yet. Okay, cool. Yeah, man, I never know how this stuff works where, as soon as the word lawyers get involved in, like, business dealings, I think my brain just taps out and go, yeah, it's going to be too hard for some people to want to deal with this. So,
mate, get the lock-picking lawyer onto it. Or the, who's the other guy?
You know who's into the lock-picking lawyer? My old man. He's into picking locks now.
Oh, my God, of course
he's got a lock-picking kit. He's gonna be dominating it in no time.
Mate, Bill just wants to be a secret agent, doesn't he?
Yeah, exactly. My bedroom rigs a half stack with 3 heads. No, I've never seen him do magic. I don't think he went down that route.
Man, get him a deck of cards. Man,
I didn't realize Dean still do a 12-string bass.
Yeah, I think I knew that. Man, I bought Amy a Rubik's Cube for Christmas, and she's been getting super into it, so she can do it in like a couple of minutes now.
She's crushing it. That's sick.
She's not like, it's not going to be speed cubing, sort of like breaking world records or anything, but I'm pretty impressed. Like, I've never been able to solve a Rubik's Cube before.
Yeah.
I think you can watch a YouTube video and work it out, but yeah.
You were too busy listening to Dokken, which is the correct way to go. Not surprised by the lockpicking interest. Yeah, exactly. And hey, Derek from the Outer Banks of North Carolina. What's up, bro? What time is it there? I imagine it's midnight adjacent on a Saturday.
Mate, 5 goals 3 to 1 goal 6. Collingwood very inaccurate.
1 goal 6, yeah. I like how they've just gone all in. And, I mean, wouldn't you just love to see him crash and burn, Tondy?
I'm looking at Will Hoskin-Elliott's head at the moment. I'm on AFL.com. Where's the... Oh, here we go. No, Sam Taylor kicked a goal. 2 goals.
Oh, really?
No, he took a mark.
Oof. I was going to say, they're playing him up forward.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think he's kicked one. Why is Sam Taylor playing in the forward line?
Tondy, I've got some questions for you.
Yeah,
how do you feel about silver burst Gibsons?
Not into it. I'm not disgusted by it, but I wouldn't go out of my way to buy one. I think there's way better finishes for a Gibson. Like your guitar that you're holding, it's certainly not a silver burst, but it has sort of that grey charcoal sort of colour
actually,
to it.
Yeah. That's like a charcoal burst, right?
But that's slightly different. The silver, I don't know if I... Okay, I was going to say I don't know if I like silver guitars. That's not true. So Charvel has that champagne sparkle super strat thing, which looks wicked, and that's basically silver. So I kind of like that. But the Gibsons with like the dark sort of border around the edge, I don't know if I like that so much. It just looks a bit whatever.
Yeah, they're definitely an Adam Jones. They were not desirable until him. you know, Tool
It's like,
fans
remember,
ruining it for everybody.
do you remember that there was that? I think it was like a Fender 40th anniversary or 30th anniversary Strat that was like silver.
The
with black
Antigua
pickup.
burst thing. Yeah, yeah.
Is that the one? Yeah.
It's a 25th. In 1979
25th.
they did them.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yep.
not into that. And then I had it written over the top of the thing too, like
Yeah, strange.
yeah.
Reverse silver burst. What? What? I gotta look this up.
Wait, so black
Reverse.
pickup. Oh, that sounds kind of interesting.
From the mod shop. Let's have a look. Come on, load the
Mate,
photo.
Load
the photo,
view of-
Reddit.
This camera view, by the way, is so much better than zoomed in.
Yeah, yeah. You don't see all the pores in our. Let's see. Come on, someone's surely got a better image of this. Oh yeah. I don't love it, but it's got a thing going on. Reverse silver. Look, check this out, mate. What do you reckon? It's better on the Les Paul.
Show me.
Show me. Not into it on the V. I will say that much. On the Les Paul, it's pretty cool. Because still mostly like a black
Yeah.
custom.
I mean, the V kind of looks like it's glowing, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah, from the back. I don't know about that.
Yeah. Kind of cool on the Firebird, this standard silver burst.
You know what? On a Firebird, it's kind of okay.
Yeah.
I'm not into it on a Les Paul though.
Wine red Les Paul custom though.
Oh, that's a classic.
That's a good color. I'm not the Les Paul Studio, custom, you idiot. Like, yeah, this is a great color for a Les Paul custom.
Yeah, it looks wicked.
Don't like it on standards. Don't like it on studios.
I
but
like it
on a
without the
custom.
pick guard too.
Yep. Total vibe. That's awesome. They don't make them anymore because, well, it's not like a standard order option anymore, which is just dumb.
Oh.
Because I think they look great. So Silverburst, meh.
Yeah, not a
It
fan,
grows
but
on you.
I don't want to yuck anybody's yum, but not for me.
Yeah. No LP Boomer Burst for Leon. I've got a Boomer Burst Les Paul, believe me. You got to have one. Duello finish, all right.
Let me get my 335.
Yeah, dog. The Dua Lipa Music Man Saber.
Like, look at the top on that guy.
Let's drag it in, shall we?
That's a nice guitar. I feel like this is a Boomer guitar. I bought it off the Boomer, so that's probably why. Shout out, Mr. Ferguson.
Gorgeous guitar, mate. An L5S, Scott. Yeah, I'd do it. Yeah, that's an awesome finish, man.
If I hold this guitar, I won't be able to not play it. So I probably will put it down in a second. Man, this
Oh,
is
that's
such a
cool.
cool
Noodle
guitar.
away. So we're looking at the Dua Lipa Music Man Saber.
Is
Oh, yeah. That's a cool...
Is that for real?
This is... No,
yeah.
no, it's a Duello finish.
I was gonna say.
It looks like, you know when you go to like an old, like pub or something, and it's like the
Yeah.
bench top has that like, you know, years of beer and cigarettes being put out on it.
Yep.
So there was, I met, the strap that came with this guitar is awesome. Charles has them branded, and I met the guy who makes them, DSL straps. He was at the show, and we were just
Oh,
talking.
DSL,
He was
yeah,
like,
I know
"Oh,
the
I'd love-"
straps.
Yeah, he was like, "Yeah, I'd love to make you a strap," and I was like, "Oh, cool, man!" Like, you know, and then I mentioned something about Charles's guitar, and because I like, long story short, I kind of had a few. Like, there was some running things doing the show recently, and I don't know if it was because it was so hot and I was dehydrated, but it was just like during the show, I was just getting like my hands were like, I don't know if they were cramping or where I had the strap, but I tried a bunch of different straps and I settled on the strap that came with this. And I was saying, it's like, oh, it was one of Charles's straps. He's like, yeah, I make those. And I was like, oh, well, then I actually like your straps. But he was showing us he made a custom strap for Anya Taylor-Joy, right?
Oh yeah.
And then he was like, you know, let me know, like, I can do a strap with your name on it or something like that. And one of the guys at the independent music booth was like, can you make me a strap that says Anya Taylor-Joy on it? Because I also want that. Yeah. Which I thought was the best idea. Like, he could just make those. And then,
Yep.
you know, you can get a Dua Lipa signature saber. The Widow Burst. So I feel like I'm not bullying you when it comes to like making fun of the duello finish. I reckon it looks sick, but this is just how Australia works. So if you're not Australian and you feel like we're unfairly bullying you for your choice, well, I'm actually getting massively behind your choice on that. I am just an idiot.
Agreed.
Widow Burst. Now, if our friend Trent is still in the chat, do you remember hanging out with Trent in LA, Troy, and you really, really, really needed to pee? Like, so
sounds
bad.
like me.
Where I
Yeah.
thought you were going to piss yourself. Like, because we were like, I forget what we were doing. You were like, yeah,
Norms?
can we go back to the
Norms?
hotel now? And we're just like, yeah, oi, Trent, remember this? And oi, remember like people coming into Cosmic and, you know, being meatheads. And you're just like, oh my God, I really need to piss.
I've had a couple of incidents recently, not where I've like wet myself, but I've been. Oh.
Widow Burst. Oh. Here we go. Let's open that in a new tab and drag it in. Open image in new tab. I'm loving this, just like talking about guitar finishes. Here to just yuck people's yum. Can I do this?
Oh, do you want to play
Can I do
Scarified
this?
together over Zoom?
With heaps latency in different tunings.
Yeah.
So this is the I like, so this, the second
That's
from
cool,
the right
man.
Widow one reminds me of my Les Paul artist finish. I like all of those. Man, the purple with the purple
Yeah.
split diamond Tondi.
Man, that works. You know what? The red and blue, it might just be the picture, but that to me, I'm not as into. But the purple sort of suits it.
There you go.
That's pretty cool, man. All right.
That's pretty rad. All right,
regret-
Scarified.
Yeah, ready?
I dropped my pick.
Don't tell me what tuning you're in. And
Yep.
also, let's do it at whatever tempo feels most appropriate. You ready? And also,
right,
I'm going
here
to
we
do
go.
it with. I'm going to do it on this pick. It's not pointy. You ready?
Oh man, I'm not even in the right tune.
Yeah, that's better. Wait.
This is the worst thing I've ever heard in my life.
Right, do the middle part.
There
Ready?
you go.
Do the middle part. Ready?
2,
One,
3,
two.
4. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. We apologize. Whatever the color,
Yeah.
I wish there were more single piece tops. Yeah, I've got a PRS McCarty with a single piece top and it looks really good. Oxblood Les Paul, yeah, I'm very much into these. Someone was selling like the standard 50s in the translucent Oxblood, and I mean it was a pretty good price. Yeah. Total vibe. Let's drag this in. Not the Widowburst, but the Oxblood. Like, it's kind of wine red, but a little bit darker. Kind of
Oh, yeah,
black,
that's
but
cool.
yeah, it's like in between black and wine red, isn't it?
Man, the white pick art on that looks really good.
And, you know, like, it's, yeah, as made famous by Jeff Beck and Blow by Blow, like, great looking guitar.
Yep.
Not like the other Jeff Beck guitar that was at the auction. You know the one. Let's see. Jeff Beck, yeah, Chrissy's auction. Like, I love how it's like all these, you know, beautiful vintage guitars and stuff like that. And you just stumble across and you're like, all right, Jeff, we get it. These were all so underpriced as well on like the estimates. It was quite funny. Like, okay, what is, man, so his 54 Les Paul sold for £1 million.
I mean, who's surprised?
His 59 sold for £400,000.
Really?
what else?
Far out.
There was a few things in there which were like Jeff's DSLs, like estimated price £400. It's like, nah, dude. I mean, people are paying £10,000 for a Greco. I want to know what that
do you
Squire
reckon
sold
the
for.
Leon? How much do you reckon Leon Todd's DSLs will sell for?
$50.
Whoa,
So
mate.
what did this one sell for? Whoa, man. Okay, look at this. Estimate, £8,000, sold for £440,000.
Must be nice.
Explicit content. This is the one.
20, really?
know.
That seems way undervalued.
Man, for what you're getting on it,
Mate, you should have done that.
vintage
That,
pornography.
you were talking about doing that for the show. Like, it's a bummer you didn't make it happen.
Yeah. The next one, I'll do something like that to one of my guitars. It'll be amazing. So yeah, the Widowburst is a vibe. The non-Widowburst, Jeff Beck.
Oh, hey, by the
Played
way,
that Pink Jackson a bunch. Yeah, he did. Like the Pink Jackson was definitely 80s Jeff, right?
I've had a slide now for almost 2 days.
Are you a slide master?
Oh, absolutely. Am I supposed to use my other fingers when I play slide, or just the slide to do everything? I still haven't really worked it out.
Mate, you can do whatever you want. That's the thing.
I'll just do this. Oh, hang on. Done. Solo done.
You can do if you use your first finger as a mute behind the slide, that can help.
Oh, yeah.
And then you can practice, this is the extent of my slide playing, right? So if you, I think it's a Sonny Landreth style technique. You use your thumb to mute the low strings. You pluck with your middle finger, and you use your other fingers to mute the high strings. So then you isolate, you kind of isolate everything, right? Rather than just thing.
I found the muting thing wasn't as difficult as I was expecting. Hang on, have I got a cable?
Yeah, it's not too bad.
I was doing it on the telly, and it was like, oh, it's not good, but it's not awful. If I was just kind of gripping the guitar like this, and it's like, oh, it sounds kind of quiet. That was the one lesson on slide that I got from Brett Garced the other day. So, by any means necessary, I believe that was the quote.
And I will just clarify again, I wasn't making fun of the Ernie Ball Music Man finish. Just the name made me think of Dua Lipa, so I thought the finish looked cool. It's just funny that it made me think of Dua Lipa, and it's funny because I'm dumb.
I'll just say, when that was happening, I was grabbing my 335, so I wasn't really paying attention, but I am making fun.
Yeah, okay. Well, there you go. You got to do the Dwayne Allman Open E tuning. I mean, who do you like that plays slide guitar, Tondi?
Jason Isbell?
No one? Jason Isbell? Well, there you go. There you go. Great. And he's probably super into Dwayne Allman, so kind of like everyone. Eternal Craving for a Candy Apple Red. Oof. Gibson Les Paul Custom. Stinger finish on the back of the headstock is a nice touch too. Yeah, they're nice. Do you own a 513? I don't. I remember when they came out, I kind of like the look of the pickups on them. We're talking about the PRS 513.
Which one's the 513s?
They have two toggle switches, and they have those flat black pickups on them. Let me show you, Tondi. They came out a long time ago. I think it's sort of the idea is you have 5 coils and you can get 13 different sounds out of it.
Oh, okay. I think I remember that.
They're very expensive. That's the thing that's put me off them. PRS are very expensive, but a lot more than a Custom 24 here. But I kind of dig the look of the way the pickups are mounted in there. There's a bit of a charcoal burst. So you have the two. I think there's a 5-way and a 3-way, which does different stuff. Yeah, it's an interesting switching system. And they did a PRS, a all single coil version, the 305. Yes, there you go. With a lot of these kind of 50s Fender vibe finishes on them. It was pretty interesting. But yeah, I've actually never played one, if you can believe it. I've never come across one in the wild. Oh yeah, and they sort of have the painted neck heel thing on them. Lots of stuff on there. Do you guys have a cheap guitar that you love? Yes.
Yeah. Let me. You go first. If you got one off the top of your head.
It's probably not a cheap guitar anymore, but I think I paid $500 for a PV Wolfgang Special. And it's great. It's just a great guitar, very easy to play, sounds awesome. That immediately comes to mind for me.
I'll give you a couple. So I've got an Aria brand acoustic guitar that was my dad's. So it would be
Oh,
probably from
nice.
the early mid '80s. That guitar
Yep.
is so good. I broke funnily enough, I had broken a string on it in like 2017, having not played the guitar for probably at least 10 years before that. And
Jeez.
I played it a lot. Once I restrung it, I played it quite a lot, and I used it for some sessions, and it sounded really cool.
Yeah.
And then broke a string, completely forgot about it, didn't use it for like 5 years, and then I gave it to my sister because she was trying to learn something. So I haven't seen it
Right.
for a little bit. But man, that guitar was so good. It just was. It has that cheap acoustic guitar sound, but it sort of still felt smooth and not bad. It just was like really
Yep.
mid-rangey and really nice. So I liked it a lot. But in addition to, well, not in addition to that, most of my guitars are second hand. I mean, I don't buy anything brand new because I'm too bloody cheap.
Yeah.
But the new guitars that I have bought have mostly been Mexican guitars.
Yeah.
And that's not a cool thing to do or say. But man, like well, I don't know if you can see it behind me. I'll move out of the way. That telly over there?
Yeah, great guitar. The Road
Yeah,
one?
yeah, the Road Worn, 2016 Road Worn. Man, it's awesome. I played that against so many USA guitars and Japanese guitars, and the Mexican one was the one for me. So yeah, that I've got my Jason Isbell signature is also Mexican. My Charvels are Mexican, and they're just so good. And the thing that okay, I think the Chilia guitars look incredible, and the PRS guitars look incredible, and Sirs and all this sort of stuff. But I'm always terrified that I'm going to put a dent in it. Same as this
Yeah.
guitar. Like, this is too nice for me to own because I'm a clumsy band. So I like guitars that I can toss around a bit and don't feel scared about it. And yeah, the as much as I love these Mexican guitars, like, I'm also not afraid to play them and abuse them. So I think that helps me play when I'm not scared of it. Whereas my Sir is wicked, but I just don't want to take it out of the house. So I'm a big fan of cheaper guitars.
Yeah, Fender Player series are awesome. I was chatting to Simon Hosford, and when he did that Van Halen, they played all of Van Halen 1 at the guitar show a few years ago. He was like, bro, I just use an off-the-wall Fender Player Strat, and it was great. Did all the things. So, vintage BC Rich. What's your favorite BC Rich, Troy?
Gunslinger.
Gunslinger. All right.
Yep. Ask me why.
Is it because of Craig Goldie?
No. It's because I loved the television show Full House, or I loved it as a child.
Right.
They, for some reason, had an endorsement with BC Rich Guitars, so Uncle Jesse was playing the Gunslingers.
There you go. So see this guitar, the Patrick Nagel one?
That's so cool, man.
So Charles made a guitar that's a direct replica of that, but it says CC Rich on it. Because it was
right, yeah.
CC DeVille played it and Charles Chiliers. So yeah, but he got the original like decals and had it airbrushed, and it's a great guitar. I just remember walking into his showroom being like, "Oh my god, what?" I thought it was an original, and I looked up close. I was like, there you go, you've done it. I think the Mockingbird is pretty cool. Like, I'm not into the whole switchies thing, but like I've seen a few of them in the flesh, where I'm like, okay, yeah, that's a sick guitar.
I probably prefer that to a Warlock or something like that.
Yeah. The Warlock. Oh man, I remember as a teenager thinking it was cool. Then I actually saw them in the flesh, and I was like, yeah, I don't know. There's the Bish with a 10-string one, which is kind of like a slimmed down.
Ben's got the dual neck with that, hey?
Yeah, the dual neck, yeah, which is actually pretty cool. But yeah, I always feel like I would just look dumb playing one of these. Although
quickly,
the NJs, that's a cool. Yeah, I go back and forth with them.
No, the Gunslinger. There's been a couple show up, but not cheap enough for me to like throw money at. I have I paid $50 for it. Actually, this is a cheap guitar. I paid $50 for a Korean plywood snakeskin BC Rich Gunslinger. I think it's
That's
a Gunslinger,
right.
but yeah, it came off Gumtree here. So and it was right around the corner, $50. And I did one gig with it, and it was kind of fun. I put a pink PAF Pro in it in the bridge. I quite liked that. Just to address, because Trent mentioned in the comments there that he's got a player Acoustasonic. Man, I've got a USA Acoustasonic that I've been trying to get rid of it because I had one go down. It was from I think I bought it in 2020, but yeah, after about 9 months of using it, it just stopped working. The electronics died. And,
Yeah, this is a saga, hey.
yeah, and I was really depressed because I returned the guitar and said, "Can you fix it?" I had to go back to the shop, and instead of fixing the guitar, they replaced it and gave me a brand new one, which just didn't feel as good, and yeah, I just didn't like it. So it would be perfect for the gigs that I do, but I'm so scared to take it out of the house that it's like and do a gig with it and have it die on me. So yeah, awful. So hey, Nick, you offered to trade a guitar. I'll give you an acoustic sonic for your PRS. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Straight swap.
Yeah, straight swap. That's a fair deal. You know what? I've been playing with Troy.
Oh
Finally
yeah,
have one of
nice.
these. It's sick,
Shout
man.
out.
It's just like, yeah, Pirate MIDI. I'm going to do some videos with this, but you can use it as an aux switch. So you just, plug a TRS cable into it. But it's also like, it just runs the same operating system as their big controllers. So you can do all the things
That's cool.
with 3-foot switches and MIDI. And, so the big thing, these like MIDI to TRS things, right?
Yep.
There's two standards, TRS A and B, which is so dumb,
Yep.
right? But you can set the flexi ports to do either of them. So it's basically a sick universal, and it does MIDI over USB. You can have USB MIDI come in and go out to the flexi ports. It's pretty great. I've been testing it with the VP4 to do a few things, and it's great. And web-based editor.
Oh yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, Morningstar has that as well. I was looking at the Pyramid stuff the other day.
Yeah.
I was thinking about getting that controller for one of my boards.
Yeah, Kramer Farrington. Oh, is that I feel like I know what this... Oh, yeah, yes, that's right. Are you aware of these, Tondi? From back in the day?
Show me.
Show me. These. Like the Kramer Acoustasonic,
Oh
basically.
yeah. Yep.
Yep.
I've seen those in the wild. I have played those before.
The black ones look really cool, I have to admit. Oh, Farrington bass? Mate.
That's what you
Look
need.
at that. They look pretty thick. They look like a full depth acoustic.
Man, do you remember I sent you years ago there was a semi-hollow like Mockingbird, BC Rich Mockingbird acoustic guitar? Sorry, not a semi-hollow. It was an acoustic.
I got to see this.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it wasn't
Wow.
that expensive. I did think about it. Like, I'm talking it was $500 or something.
Wow.
Imagine rocking up and doing a pub duo gig with a fucking Mockingbird acoustic guitar. Wouldn't that be amazing?
I mean, it wouldn't fit on any stands, or you'd have to like constantly put it back in the case,
Yeah.
right? That's hilarious. That's amazing. Like the red one. Oh. I mean, it makes me think what will come of all this like kind of like cheap kitschy gear that's out at the moment. In 30 years, people are going to be nostalgic for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I love tacky gear, man. I'm all about it, but it just depends how much it costs.
So Trent reckons get a player Acoustasonic. Just do it.
Yeah, they're not that expensive, man. Do you know actually remember why I bought the Acoustasonic at the time, and it's because I was talking to someone at one of the music shops, and this was during COVID, and they were like, "Man, if you want one of these things, you got to buy it now because once they're gone, we're not seeing them for like 12 months." So I thought,
Oh, really?
Because there was no stock anywhere, and it was going to take ages to get them. So I thought, let's do it. Is that an ice cream truck?
Yeah, the ice cream truck is going past the windows. So,
Mate, do you want to quickly run out and get one? Like, I don't want to
yeah,
stop
quick.
you.
Should we do it?
Yeah.
Oh,
but
man.
But no,
ice cream
the player
trucks
one-
play green sleeves here.
So, mate, I was thinking about this because I'm still using the telly, the Isbell telly for all the gigs, but I would probably like an Acoustasonic. I really wish that it worked and I could trust it.
Bro, it was like seeing you do gigs on that made so much sense. It was just like
It was
you
perfect.
had that thing dialed in. It was actually perfect.
Yep. But I don't know if I want to drop. I mean, it's like $1,600 or something, but I don't think I want to roll the dice on it. I mean, unless I could go into a music shop and do a straight trade. But this guitar, man,
Yeah.
it's been up for $1,600, this USA one, and no one wants it. So I paid $3 for it.
I mean, trading in gear is it's a skill that I don't possess.
If the Rock-In wants to take it for that Strat Elite, then you got a deal, buddy. But
Yeah.
we'll see. I did think about that.
Here's a good question from Nick. The worst injuries you've overcome that stopped or prevented you from playing?
I haven't had anything that's really stopped me. You've had a couple of broken fingers, haven't you?
Yeah. That's very, very clever. Yes, I was putting on my shoes the day before a tour and either broke or severely jarred my index finger on my left hand. You put like your finger through the little tab to pull your shoe on. That's dumb. Did the entire, I think we did like 20 something shows in 21 days or something. So just didn't have time to do anything about it. That actually was playing up a little bit on the recent run of shows that I did. That was, I was like, ooh, have I like just accidentally done something where I've re-inflamed this? When I was 15, I remember going to like, someone was like, oi, where's the skate park? And I like turned like that to point and I just felt my whole arm just like someone had stabbed it. I don't know what I did, but that was like a week where I was terrified that I'd never play again. It was like anytime I went to use these two fingers, I just get like a stabbing pain. So I just took a week off and that kind of fixed it. But I tore my rotator cuff in my right shoulder last year. And that's, the week before we did the Malmsteen tour, which itself was the week before I went away for 9 weeks on tours. So that was a bit terrifying where I was like, I just remember waking up one morning and just being like, what is wrong with my, like, it was so painful. And like, I couldn't, I could play guitar, but I couldn't really lift my arm past about here. That was just so incredibly uncomfortable. And yeah, went to the doctor, got a bunch of scans, and they were like, yeah, just rest. And I was like, well, that's not going to happen. But I did that Sydney season with Club Cabaret for 9 weeks. So I was like, I went to the gym basically every day to do rehab stuff on it, which helped a lot actually. Just doing stuff with like the resistance bands and stuff like that. So
Yep.
That was very, very painful.
This shoulder of mine has been like 12 months now of every morning waking up. It's so stiff and painful. Like it sort of works itself out during the day, but man, it's rubbish. I got to get that sorted out. I do remember
get some resistance bands, man, like those, like, and do like a couple of sets of like 10 like that, and then the other way, like every single day. It will really help.
I did remember I had an injury once. It was so I've got that acoustic guitar with all the red rhinestones on it, which looks wicked.
Yes.
And so I bought the guitar. It's a early 90s Yamaha, like 420 acoustic guitar. I paid like $200 for it. So I had to spray paint it red and then put rhinestones on it. So I was in my back garden and I threw a drop sheet out so I could put the guitar on and spray the front of the guitar red. In the process of throwing out the drop sheet, I threw my back out and it had never happened before.
That's right, yeah.
So, and I was in quite a lot of pain, so I thought, fuck, I'll go sit down for a little bit. I'll just work through it. I think I'll be okay. Again, never having had back problems before. And after about an hour, I thought, I think I feel a bit better. So I went out, sprayed the guitar, and then in the process of doing that, threw my back out even worse. So I went inside. I laid on the floor in my kitchen for 2 hours. I couldn't move. It was such like a horrific pain, and any movement that I made, it was just like... Yeah, it was nothing like... I'd never felt anything like that before. Now, the bad thing was, I was supposed to leave for a gig at 4 p.m. I was supposed to drive 2 hours north to do a solo gig for quite good money. And at the time, I was like a bit sort of light on the cash, So I was trying to work out how I could get there because it was too short notice to cancel. So, man, I mean, yeah, I think you know the story anyway, but about how this all happened. But man, so it was probably like 2:30 in the afternoon. I'm laying on my back. I'm thinking like, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do with this. We had a friend who was, he lives in Melbourne now, but he was back in town just visiting friends and family. And I was like, well, this guy probably doesn't have a gig tonight. So I called him and said, hey man, look, I'm in a really bad situation where I've thrown my back out and I can't drive myself, or I don't feel comfortable to drive myself to this gig. Would you come to my house, load my gear into the car, drive me to the gig? I'll split the gig with you. I'll split the money with you if you play guitar, and I'll play and sing. And he was gracious enough to do that. So we ended up doing a duo gig instead of a solo gig. And I did it in excruciating pain. Like sitting on this stool was awful. And yeah, and I had back problems for about 6 weeks after that. And thankfully only 6 weeks, but then it reoccurs maybe once every year or two. It was a bulging disc, so it took a lot of like physio and stuff to get over that. But yeah, it was. I could do a gig, but man, you know what it's like. You do most of these gigs sitting down or standing up. It's not easy. Like I did a gig. It was in Geraldton actually, maybe 2019, started 2019, and I threw my back out the night or two before we left. And like that drive was awful, man. Like sitting in the car for that long, 4 hours, and then trying to do a rock gig, like trio rock gig. It was hard work, man. Standing for that long, I could move about this far around the stage because it was too painful. So, not the arms, not the fingers, but the back.
Yeah, the back is the worst, right? Got to be the worst. Terrifying. Yeah. I've been very, very fortunate where I haven't had anything serious. Had a few things where I'm like, ooh, probably what they call in AFL awareness.
Yeah. Speaking of which,
come on, car ready, mate?
No, 49-32 to GWS.
Oh, Trent, this is. Just had surgery right now. It's gone again.
Oh, dude.
Been playing tough like 10 minutes at a time. No. Oh man. That sucks, bro.
Man, yeah, sorry, that's awful, Trent. I've got there's two people I know that have had arm injuries. You just reminded me, actually. And all the best, Trent. I hope you sort yourself out. Oh. My aunt had back surgery like 2 years ago. It was pretty awful. But anyway, yeah, two local guitar players. I remember one had an issue where he was having tingling in his fingers when he played for too long. And he was a maybe 50-50 gigging musician. That was his income. So really,
this isn't a bummer at all. Like, this is actually good stuff to talk about. I feel like because so many people go through this. So
yeah, it happens to everyone,
don't be afraid of sharing.
Man. So but I think it was about 2 or 3 years he couldn't really play guitar. But there was I think he said it was related to the way he was holding his baby when his kid was really young. Was putting he was in this position, and it just caused a lot of nerve damage all up and down his arm.
Wow.
So that I think that was resulted in some pretty serious surgery to sort it out. And
this is the best advice ever. Wear medieval gauntlets. Be prepared. Yes.
I've been thinking about that for years. But there's another guitar player I know that he was saying if he plays guitar like I'm playing right now, for whatever injury he has in his hands, he can only move his fingers as fast as what I'm doing right now, right? But for some reason, if he plays the guitar like this, he gets full mobility back in his fingers, and it changes depending on the angle of the guitar.
It'd be all this. It'd be shoulders and and back. Yep. 100%.
So,
I mean,
I've been sitting for okay.
Yeah, I stopped playing with the guitar on this leg just because my hip flexors were so tight. Honestly, something that I started doing a couple of years ago was if you're in the gym, strengthening your glutes, and it's you're in there humping barbells basically. So everyone looks at you weird, but they look at me weird anyway, so it's not that much of an adjustment. But yeah, really strengthening your glutes and being able to activate them. I was talking to someone about it, and they were like, oh, do this thing and you activate your glutes. And I was like, I literally couldn't do it. I was like, oh, those muscles I've never worked them out. So yeah, you do they're the missing link, obviously, between the big muscles in your legs and then your back, and yeah, strengthening your glutes and stuff like that. So here we go. Degenerative arthritis can start in the neck and aggravate the median nerve down the arm to the hand, so go easy on the head banging. Mustaine and Tom Murray have neck fusions. Well, there you go. Yeah. Swimming. Yes, Trent. Exactly, man. How good is swimming? It's actually just it's so low impact, but also so good for just, so many things, and also cardio as well, your cardiovascular health, which is super, super important. So, yeah, Vandenberg, I mean, he couldn't record that entire Whitesnake album, right, because of that. How are we on the footy, Tondi? What's the score, mate?
Mate, I just told you about 5 minutes ago. 55-32 at halftime.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I mean, Collingwood kicked 3 goals that quarter, but they didn't do much, as it seems. Toby,
the Orange Tsunami's back, mate.
Got one. You like a bit of GWS, don't you? Are they your second team?
Uh, yeah, I feel like Port were my second team as a kid, just because they came into the competition. But then,
hang on,
yeah,
that's right.
GWS.
No, I got excited because Ed Allen. I'm just looking at the player stats, but it's in alphabetical order. I like Ed Allen, like son of
Ben Allen.
inaugural, Freo captain. So, yeah, Sam Taylor's having a good game. Oh, 100% game time too. Good on you.
Putting in heaviness of guitars, Tondi. I'll just say that I bought a Les Paul Custom at the end of last year, and it's very, very heavy, but it's actually really comfortable to play standing up. And I think it's because there's no neck dive, so I'm not having to if you've got a guitar that's got a bit of neck dive, this one's okay, but anything where you're sort of having to do that a lot, you've got tension through all of here, and you're trying to play, which can lead to some issues. So
yep.
Yeah. And yeah, obviously your diet's going to be a huge thing. It's being healthy. I'm glad there's just we were talking to Gus said the other day, he was talking about lifting weights and, just generally being in good shape, but,
yep.
Not being an absolute degenerate drug addict, basically, and you'll have a long, successful career.
Man, I've got to get back in the gym. I've got my card works again, so I've got to get back and do some exercise.
There you go.
Maybe I'll go this afternoon. What do you reckon about that?
Yeah, get in there, mate. Work those big, thick glutes.
Big, thick Indo glutes.
Exactly. This is coming up on 2 hours. I reckon it may be time, now that we're talking about thick,
we can answer
Indo
this
glutes.
question.
We can. I'm a stud, just beat to hell. Yeah, there you go. Exactly. So anyway, back to the question. I generally I don't mind the weight so much as long as the guitar hangs right.
Yeah. I think I had that Yamaha bass when I started playing bass. It was a 5-string BB thing.
Beast.
It sounded cool, but it was so heavy, and I had quite a few shoulder problems. It was this shoulder, I believe, from just having to hold the guitar all night for however many hours it was. So
yeah,
that was pretty tough. I went to a jazz bass after that, which was significantly lighter, and no worries going all night with that thing. In terms of in the studio, I don't think it really matters. It's just whatever, by any means necessary, just play the guitar.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really. Well, we were talking about this the other day. I don't really care that much about how heavy or light a guitar is, as long as it feels comfortable. The neck dive guitars can be a bit weird, like my Schecter Tele bass, like the Doug Pinnick sort of bass that I have.
Yeah,
that's got pretty nasty neck dive, and that's not. Yeah, when you got to hold it up all night, it kind of feels a bit weird, but it's all kind of manageable, really. Everything's manageable.
Yeah, someone doing a handstand on your shoulders is certainly a little bit more downward force than a Les Paul. So, and Danique, who was doing that, I think he's maybe 60-ish kilos, so it's not that bad. But still, yeah, that's cool. All right, one last one: gas masks and hand grenades. I'm glad you enjoyed the Brett interview. It was really, really great, and we'll hopefully have another cool Australian guitar legend on the pod this week, if all goes well. On recording that one on Tuesday, won't give it away, but pretty pumped about it.
Mm-hmm. Rip it up.
And Nick, mate, this is why we're friends. 68 Les Paul reissue. It's heavy. It's got the Sir Aldrich. You're doing life right. On that, peace out, everybody. Everybody say thanks to Troy for joining us. And
thanks for having me, man.
I will be doing this again very soon.
Ripper.
Have a great Sunday. Later, dudes.